What's up guys, and welcome back to WBCBuilds. And you know what today is? That's right, it's a perfect day for a time lapse. So this week I am bringing you a class of British terraced houses built in the Victorian period. And you know, I claim myself to be a Victorian builder, and I haven't really shown off much in the way of Victorian builds. So this is one of my first, and it's always a pleasure to be building it on a 45-degree angle like we have here. Now, the reason I sort of went for these is, I think if you watched my latest Let's Build Wolverhampton episode, I'm around this area known as Buckland Place, and I set out these diagonal plots because why not give myself a challenge to build what could be seen as quite a simple building, but in our case it turned out quite nicely. So it's called Brookwood Terrace, this road, due to the fact that while building it, my friend and builder who owns the town of Brookwood, Fluffy Snail, came over and gave me a little hand on some of the details, some of the finer bits, because I couldn't quite grasp on what sort of style I was trying to go for. So I thought, what better way to honour him than just to name this nice little terrace after him. So terraced houses were prevalent throughout England and, well, the UK during the 18th and 19th century, and you have the Georgian ones which we've built before, and you can see in the bottom corner of the screen, and then you have these more brick ones with sandstone which are known as a sort of more Victorian terraced house. Okay then guys, I'm going to leave you with the rest of the time lapse and join you again after the little cinematic scene I have put in the middle of this video. Alright, we'll see you then. Okay then guys, so you've seen the time lapse. Now it's time for us to take our normal little tour around the build so you can get a better feeling and a better understanding as to why I've built it and what I've built. So we're starting here on the corner. This is the little Canal Cottage. So this is a Georgian, not townhouse as such, it's a Georgian terraced house. It was once part of a pair. The second house fell into disrepair at some point and was demolished. It all stood on the land that was owned by Buckland House, and as discussed in the Let's Build Buckland Place video, this land was all sold off and these houses were built for workers or just people who wanted to live in this area. It's still a very expensive, very well-to-do area. These houses aren't small, although this is probably the smallest house in this area, and that's because it was meant just for the workers of the local canal. So this is the Westbourne Union Canal. I think it's never going to get built at this rate, but one day it will. And there's a lock probably going to be further up there, so whoever lived in this house would have worked in the lock just up the road there. And we've got a little nice park here on the corner. So this would have been where the other house was, and it's obviously fallen into disrepair and been replaced by a lovely willow tree, which is lovely. So down the backs of these buildings, I've gone for quite a uniform wall with the polished diorite on the top, and just nice little gardens with a tiny bit of detailing. I didn't want to go overboard with these because for one, there's quite a few houses. I didn't want to do each one individually, because in my Crescent video I went through and pretty much did every garden individually, and it took forever, and that was doing 10 houses. Now yeah, and I just wanted to finish it off a little bit. Always nice to put this bit of dark oak and the leaves together with the potsol acting as a sort of mulch slash, broken down leaves. Now with the windows, I had an idea of putting windows in the ends of these diagonals, but then I remembered actually this is on the border, so on the boundary, so you can't really have one window in the middle, and it wouldn't look right to have one on either side. So we went for the windows just in the backs of the buildings like this. And while building it, I didn't actually intend originally to have a double crested roof, although it has turned out a lot better doing it like this. I don't know why, and for all of you OCDers out there, yes, there should have been probably 3 chimneys abreast here, but I feel 2 is definitely the maximum for this type of house rather than having 3 chimneys. So here, this fixes it because it was designed properly. This one wasn't, it was because of a world edit accident, and yeah, anyway, it looks alright. So coming back round to the backs of the gardens, we've got the one on the end here, which has quite a nice big plot, and then 2 lovely bow windows or bay windows sitting here overlooking the rest of Buckland Road. So yes, I've named this place Brookwood Terraced after the amazing town of Brookwood. I've done quite a few videos now showcasing that place, so if you want to go check that out, there's some links somewhere. And yeah, I just want to take a little tour over this way, so talk about a few of these plots. So these are going to be featured in later episodes of Timelapse Tuesday. This is going to be a row of shops, I think. Maybe a townhouse on that corner one there, quite a large build. And then this corner here, I have plans to build a library. Now I have shown this library off in my daily inspiration posts on Twitter. Now I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to make it part of the school Let's Build. So I'm going to do a Let's Build all about like a Victorian school and playfields and a house around it. It's based on a place in Lymington. Now this library is based on what was the public library in Southampton, and I believe it was bombed in the war and it's no longer standing. So it's going to sit nicely here on this corner, and because of the way the ground slopes away, we're going to have to put a nice garden or park in the background. And I also want to put a church around here somewhere. So I've got quite a few more ideas for our Timelapse Tuesdays where we can work in Buckland Place. And yeah, definitely like doing these diagonal terrace houses, because look at them. That just works so well, and it adds an extra depth to the layout. So yes, let's come on back down and take one last look at the fronts. So I'm tempted to build these rather than on an angle at at 90 degrees, so we can get an idea of what they would look like. And I think they would look quite nice still. So we would have a bow window or a bay window at the front, and then just a normal standard detailing around the window in the middle. And yeah, but what I did notice is when I was making these time lapses, I put these trees in way too early and ended up covering up the facades of the buildings. Anywho, it doesn't really matter. I think we're just going to stand here in this house and just take one last look at this place, because yeah, I'm really impressed with how it turned out. So guys, I have enjoyed doing these Timelapse Tuesdays. I'm going to keep doing them because, like I said, they give me a better way of sort of showcasing my building skills, even when it's not just on a big project or on anything of that importance. It's just a way of me going, I can build this and I can show it off on Tuesday. So, Fridays are Saturdays are our main big day. Tuesdays are just, there's a time lapse, let's put it out. So I hope you're all enjoying it. If you have any comments about how you wish these time lapse Tuesdays to carry on, leave them below and I can see if I can incorporate those into the videos. So anyway guys, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.